Hello everyone, myself Dr. Sonam Gupta, working as a professor in the Department of Computer Science and Engineering in Ajay Kumar Garg Engineering College. So today we are going to see a topic of compiler design, which is handling code optimization. Why code optimization is required? What are the various ways of code optimization? So let's see where the code optimization comes into the cycle of this total compiler. We know this, these are the basic steps. We are having a source language. Through the source language, it will be goes to the scanner for the lexical analysis. The tokens will be generated. Parser is there for the syntax analysis. The syntactic structure is checked. And through that semantic analysis, IC generator, we are having a code generator. Then in this step, we are having code optimizer, and through the symbol tables are also used to access. So we are going to discuss this code optimizer step today. What is code optimization? As we have seen in this code optimizer, it is the synthesis phase of the program. So in the synthesis phase, it is a program transformation technique in which we try to improve the intermediate code by consuming fewer resources. What are the CPU, memory, etc. We want that these should be minimum in number so that the computing time is very much faster. So in this code optimization, we are trying to do that only. Faster machine code and compiler optimization process, should meet the various objectives. First one is that the optimization technique, with whatever technique we are using, that should be correct. That means that optimization technique should not change the meaning of the program or create the ambiguity in the parser. Second thing, the optimization should be such that it should increase the speed and the performance of the program. See, why we are using this optimization? We are using this optimization so that we require fewer resources like CPU, memory, etc. Along with it, the computing time, it is also much faster. So for that, we need this optimization technique. The compilation time, it must be kept reasonable. The optimization process, it should not delay the overall compiling process as well. So we have to follow, or we have to see all these 4 steps that they are doing well, then only the code optimization is said to be successful. When to optimize? Next question comes, do we really have to optimize again and again, or there are certain situations only when we need to optimize the code? So when we need to optimization of the code, it is often performed at the end of the development stage, since it reduces the readability and adds code which is used to increase the performance. So only at the end we do this optimization. Why this optimization is required? So optimization of the algorithm, it is beyond the scope of the code optimization phase. So the program is optimized, and what it can do, it can reduce the size of the code. So what are its help that the code optimization provides to the compiler? It reduces the space consumed and increase the speed of the compilation time. Second one, manually analyzing the databases, which involves a lot of time, and hence they can make a use of the software like we are having Tableau for data. And similarly, manually performing the optimization, it is also tedious in nature, and it is better to be done by the help of the code optimizer only. An optimizer code can often promptly reusability. So if I optimize a certain code, it has been found that such type of code, they increases the code reusability as well. So for this, optimization is required. Now, what are the various types of the code optimization techniques? The code optimization techniques, it is broadly classified into 2 types. First one, machine independent optimization, and second one, it is machine dependent optimization. Now, let's see these one by one. For the machine independent optimization, they try to improve the intermediate code to get a better target code as the output, and the part of the intermediate code which is generated, it is transformed. Hence, it does not involve any CPU registers or absolute memory location. So is the name machine independent, since it is not requiring any registers, any memory locations, etc. So it is machine independent in nature. Whereas if I talk about machine dependent, so machine dependent, it is done after the target code has been generated. The final code, the target code which is going to be fetched which is going to be supplied, so that the output can be fetched from the system. After that has been generated, then only machine dependent optimization comes into the scene, and when the code is transformed according to the target machine architecture which is there. What it involves CPU registers, and it can have the absolute memory references rather than the relative references. So it does not have the relative references, it is having the memory references. So machine dependent optimizers, they put efforts to take maximum advantage of the memory hierarchy. So this is the major advantage. Now, where to apply the optimization? So, till now we have seen what is the need of the optimization. We have discussed two types of optimizations as well, machine dependent optimization and machine independent optimization. Next is why these optimizations and where to apply these optimizations. So, we can apply these optimizations in three parts, that is the source program, second one intermediate code, and third one it is the target code. Source code, that means optimizing the source program, it involves making changes to the algorithm or changing the loop structure as well. So, user is the actor here. Who is going to do that? User. Intermediate code, it optimizes the intermediate code. It involves changing the address calculations and then transforming the procedure calls involved. So, who is the actor over here? Compiler is the actor over here. Finally, is the target code. Target code, we need to optimize the target code which is done by the compiler. Usage of like register, select and move instructions is the part of the optimization which is involved in the target code. So, if I do the optimization at the source program, user will be the actor. If we do it at the intermediate code, then compiler is the actor, and if we do that at the target code, so it involves CPU registers, memory locations, etc., where the optimization will take place. Now, there are two ways of optimization, global optimizations are there, global optimization and local optimization. So, if we are applying the transformation to a large program segment, which includes function, procedures, loops, etc., then that is termed to be as the global optimization. What is local optimization? Transformations, they are applied to small block of statements. Then the local optimization is done prior to the global optimization. So, these are the two types of optimization techniques. Next is semantic preserving transformations. Semantic preserving transformation means that preserving the meaning of the program. It should not be the thing that during optimization we are using less memory, the code is also very much efficient in nature, but it is changing the meaning of the program. This is not the basic of the code optimization. First and the foremost requirement for the code optimization is that the meaning of the program should not change. So, there are a number of ways in which a compiler, it can improve a program without changing the function which it is computing. Like, what are the various things? Common sub-expression elimination, copy propagation, dead code elimination, constant folding. These are the most common methods which are applied for the semantic preserving, or we can say for the function preserving. So, let us see all these techniques one by one. So, there are a number of ways in which the compiler can do it. So, these are the methods which are applied. First one, it is the copy propagation. We are discussing all these techniques in detail one by one. Copy propagation. Now, what does this copy propagation means? Like, for example, we are having an assignment x is equal to y. Now, replace later uses of x with the uses of the y. They provide there are no intervening assignments to x or y. If I am writing over here x is equal to y, then what I can do? I can replace the later uses of x with the y. So, and there should not be any intervening assignments of x or y. Like, for example, I am having a code. In that code, first I had written x is equal to y. Then y is equal to, suppose I am writing over here z is equal to y. So, one code is that x is equal to y and another code is z is equal to y. Now, what will happen over here? Value of y will be in this x and similarly value of y will be in z. What we can do? I can simply replace this y with x also. Okay. First, I have just copied the value of y to x. Now, in place of y, I am using the x. But till where it is possible? It is only possible till the time the value of x is not changed. For example, if I had written over here x is equal to y, then x is equal to suppose x plus 1, and then I am writing over here z is equal to y. This is the code. Now, value of y is in value of x. X is currently holding the value of y. I had changed the value of x. So, if I write over here z is equal to x, so will that work? No, it will not work. Why? Because the value of x has been changed over at the statement. So, this is copy propagation. We have to clearly see that if I am using any variable in place of any other variable, then that value should be kept intact. The value should not be changed. So it can only be used for the smaller code only. Now, here we are having the copy statements like copies f is equal to g. So, use of f, g or f whenever possible after this copy statement. Like I am having over here xi is equal to a. That means the value of a is stored in xi. Now, we are having sum is equal to xi plus a. So, what we can do by the help of this copy propagation, instead of this xi, I can write a plus a. Why I am able to use this a in place of xi? Because the value of a has not been changed, or the value of xi has not been changed after the before this statement. So, it may not appear to be code improvement, but it opens up scope for the other optimization techniques as well. Next one, it is the dead code elimination. How this dead code elimination? Dead code, as the name suggests, that the code which is not, which does not occur, which is not required, that code should be eliminated, because unnecessary the time of the compiler will be wasted over there as well. So, dead code elimination, they are the portions which will not be executed in any path of the program, and so they can be removed. Like what can be the thing? There are no control flows into that particular basic block. A variable is dead at a point when its value is not used anywhere in a program. Like suppose if I am writing over x is equal to 5, but I am not using this x throughout my program, then what can I do? I can simply eliminate this particular variable. The assignment is similarly dead when the assignment, variable in which the assignment has been done, it is not required. Let's see this example. We are having x is equal to y minus 5. X is a dead variable since the definition of the x is dead over here. So, but during dead code elimination also we need to see that the particular variable or the particular assignment which we are removing, thinking it to be a dead code, is not going to be used further in any of the application. So, that is the major side effect, that it may be the thing that in future we need to take the access for it. Like if you are having debug is equal to 0, if debug then print, so this can also be eliminated. Compile time evaluations are there, where at the time of compiling only we can evaluate that whether we can do this particular optimization or not. So, expressions, that means whose values they can be pre-computed, those can be folded, or we can say those can be converted or optimized. So, what are the two ways? Constant folding and constant propagation. These are the two methods where we can use it. Constant propagation, that means replacing a variable with a constant which has been assigned to it earlier. Like for example, we are having a variable pi and the value of pi is 3.14286, the value of pi which is over there. Now, to calculate the area of a circle, we need the formula area pi r square. We are simply calculating the area of the circle. Now, instead of writing this pi variable, what will happen with the compiler? Compiler, first it will store this variable, then it is going to fetch this information from this statement, the value of the pi. We can straight away put the value of the pi and make this new statement. This is constant propagation statement. We know the value of the pi beforehand. So, instead of going to extra fold, what we can do? We can simply replace the value with the variable. Now, given an assignment x is equal to c, where C, what is C? C, it is a constant, and later when we are going to use X, instead of X, we simply use the C. This is similar to the copy propagation, but what is the extra feature which is going to be added over here? It can analyze constant value conditions to determine whether a branch it should be executed or not. And where it is performed? It is performed in optimization process. What is the result? Result, it is a smaller code and fewer registers are required. Now, for this we do not require any register. So, this is the major advantage. Next is the constant folding. What is the idea behind the constant folding? Like, we are having the operands which are known at the compile time only. For example, if I write over here int x is equal to 2 plus 3. Now, I know beforehand only what is 2 plus 3, it is 5. So, what I can do? Simply write x is equal to 5 into y. This into y is also there, so 5 into y. So, this is your constant folding. The expressions which can be evaluated at the compile time only, for that we use it. B and false. If I write over here B and false, I always know that false whenever ANDed with any other operator, operand or any other thing, the result will be false only. So, instead of wasting a register over that computation time only, so I can simply write the value. So, constant folding, like area, this is 22.0 by 7 into r square. What we can do? We can simply compute this 22 by 7, put the value and then compute the area. This is the major advantage. So, we have discussed about the various methods which are used in the code optimization technique. Now, why these code optimization techniques are required? We have also discussed to increase the computing time, to increase the speed of the computation, to reduce the memory appointments. For this, code optimization is done. Now, there are various methods which we have discussed: dead code elimination, expression evaluation, constant folding, okay, copy propagation techniques. So, all these techniques are the things which supply an add-on to the compiler. But the major usage of all these methods are only in the term to increase the speed of the computation and to reduce the memory allocation for the system. Now, why we are doing this? Why we need the computation time to be more? Why we need that the space which is required, it should be less in nature? This all is done so that since now what we are having lots and lots of data. Lots and lots of computations are also being done. So, it is not feasible for any system to go on computing on a single system again and again and has to increase its registers, CPUs, etc. What can be the option? The option is that beforehand only, to the major extent, till we can supply the compiler with the required propagations, the required code, expressions which can be evaluated are end only, that can be done beforehand, so that it require less registers. If it will require less registers, then the time to locate the register, to store the value into the register, then during computation to fetch the value from the register, that can also be done to a major extent. So, we are trying to reduce that time only. So, we have also seen where we can use this code optimization techniques. We can do at the source code. During writing source code only, like I am writing the source code over here, area is equal to 22 by 7 into r square. So, what is that? I am writing this source code, and during writing only I know that 22 by 7 it is 3.14286. So, during writing only I can simply reduce the particular code, that 22.7 I can simply reduce it to 3.14286. This can be done. Or during compilation time also we know that, like over here during compilation we know that this one, constant folding, constant propagation methods, like x is equal to 2 plus 3 into 5 y. So, 2 plus 3 can be computed here only. B and false, that can always be false. If I write over here B or true, so we all know that true or when computed with true, the result will always be true. So, the basic thing is that the computation should be done only at the point where the computation is required. Like if I write over here B or false. Now, in this case, I do not know what will be the output, because or the value, we know that the value will be true if any one of the value is true. But here one thing is fixed, which is false. So now the value for the OR, it will be dependent upon B. Similarly, if I write B and true, again, we know that only the value of false is fixed only when either of the value is false. But here one value is true, which is fixed. So now the value will be dependent on this B. So only in the cases where the propagation is possible or the folding is possible, or we can say the optimization is possible, only there we have to write that, or we can use this code optimization techniques. The things where we do not have the access or we know that it can change the meaning of the code, there we should not apply this code optimization techniques. Thank you.